Welcome to episode 4 of the Creative Train podcast. In this episode, we're going to have the train change tracks a little bit here and not focus so much on the creators, but on teachers, because that's what the Creative Train website is going to all be about. Teaching teachers, teaching students, all kinds of great stuff. So today we're going to give the teachers a little bit of a shot in the arm, a little bit of a, I love you, man, and talk about teaching. What does it mean to you? Stay tuned. So I mentioned in a previous podcast, I have some long commutes a few times a week to go to work. And I find that those times are really great mindset affirming and mindset hopefully changing times for me. And one of the things that I was thinking about as a topic for a teacher vibed podcast is, who do you serve? Because I believe teaching is an act of service. And you as a teacher are there to deliver what is essentially a summation of your experience, to share your insights gained through experience and to demonstrate means and methods that you've learned through your own experience to those people that are there to learn from you. So if you've been a teacher for some time now, you know that teaching is way more than just simply relaying information. And for those who are teachers in a school environment, where assessing and reporting on individual students' progress, marking assignments, etc., are just the part of the expected de rigueur of your career, you're to be commended for having to go way beyond the regular 6-hour school day with your efforts. But there are a lot of other types of teachers doing a lot of different things. Those who teach music, like me, or those who are athletics teachers or trainers, those who are the unintentional teachers, meaning the people from whom we learn things based on their example, their behavior, and their personal conduct. These unintentional teachers are some of your best examples because they aren't in teacher mode when they're teaching us. They're just being who they are, and it's up to the keen observer to glean the hidden lessons. We've all probably said that at some point. I'm not sure what I want, but I do know what I don't want, right? And those are usually the lessons we learn from those unintentional teachers. But if you're a teacher by choice and of your own volition, you chose to be so because you're passionate and motivated and love to teach people what you know, show them how to do what you do. There's a great analogy I heard a while ago about musicians and saying that it was not that every musician is motivated by potential stardom or whatever. It's that musicians can't be any other way. It's not something we do. It's something that we are. There's a big difference. So back to the teacher discussion. You know, there is always room for improvement. There is always potential to grow and learn, and you want to deliver the best possible learning experiences to your students. Whether you're a school teacher or you run arts and crafts classes in your home studio, or you're teaching little kids how to skate so they can eventually play hockey or figure skate or speed skate. You teach because you love it. You love seeing people grow and learn and get excited about learning more. And you've made it your life's work to help people enrich their lives through their time spent with you while you're sharing your wealth of experience with them. I often use the phrase about learning by doing the thing. And it doesn't matter really if you have, in many cases, a formal education in the thing that you're teaching. It's that you've learned by doing the thing. And there's often a lot more to be said about that kind of knowledge than something that you just gleaned from a book. And so sometimes we need to think about these things, about our motivations and about our role as teachers. Sometimes you need to hear that you are a force of creation and inspiration in this world. Sometimes you need to remember that you have the opportunity to set your students on completely unexpected life and career paths because it was you who first got them interested and then kept them interested in learning. I'm sure you can think back to certain students you've had or currently have who've gone through some amazing things as a result of their time spent with you. I have a few of those as guitar students. I've had students start as young as, 6 years old and stuck with it long enough to get the basic hang of it. And their parents were also very passionate about their child's artistic education, and they stayed with music lessons for years and years and years. And I've had some that go all the way through their whole education in public schooling, and then they end up going to college or university in another town, and that's the only thing that stopped them from coming in for lessons. And I've seen them go on to play in very successful bands, touring across the country, selling their music and merchandise online, getting, playlisted on the popular streaming platforms. And that is like super heartening for me to see. And then when I hear them, I'm like, yeah, I know that guy. I taught him a thing or two. And then there are those that only stuck with music lessons for a year or two, who came out of curiosity, but maybe didn't have the motivation to really practice and progress much. And some of these folks I've run into maybe 20 years later, and they tell me that they're playing all the time. They record their own music at home. They play local pubs, and they have this burgeoning, bulging guitar collection now. But not everyone wants to be a major rock star. And I don't force that notion on any of my students. But what I can rest assured is that every week I leave them with some kind of motivation, some more motivation, some more confidence in their creativity. We have a few laughs along the way each day. And even if I know they're not diligent about their independent practice, I always leave them with some kind of open-ended thought or thing to think about, ideas for how to approach their music studies. Their job is to allow that open-ended thought or unanswered question to find some resonance in their minds just by thinking about it as they're practicing. And that will hopefully lead them to more practice. So back to the point I made off the top. Who do you serve? I think that if we as teachers, educators, trainers, coaches, mentors can take a few minutes to meditate on this every day before we have to switch into teacher mode, it'll help us remember what it was like to be totally new to something, to feel totally out of our depth, to remember the moments when we needed help and what it was we needed help with, to remember our greatest successes and when we turned failures into learning experiences. Teaching is an act of service, and regardless of what kind of teaching you're doing, what courses you're running, or who your student base is, you are there to set up a 4-course meal of information, motivation, inspiration, and guidance. And this goes way beyond teaching just a basic curriculum. You are in a position to mold and shape minds, define goals and aspirations, and I believe it's one of the coolest jobs in the world. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Teaching is something I'm really passionate about, and I take it very seriously, but I always remember to have fun while we're doing it. If you can't have fun when you're learning things, it's just too much stress. So if you have any input or comments you'd like to leave, please do leave a comment on whatever stream you're finding this on. So thanks for listening again. We'll talk to you next time. And there's your bit of inspiration. Now go get to work.